Hi, I am Hazen Russell, and I am presenting on behalf of my colleagues who work in the Groundwater Geoscience program and the Archetypal Aquifer project, subtitled Consolidating 25 Years of Groundwater Work at the GSC. This talk is 10 minutes in length. This talk is a high-level overview of the Archetypal project. It presents the broad suite of activities underway, and which are highlighted in bold and can be summarized as classification, consolidation of data and knowledge, collection of new data to infill gaps, analysis and modeling, methods development, and science and technology communication. I would like to acknowledge internal staff participants, the institutions of external collaborators, and collaborative funding agencies. As already noted, this talk provides a high-level overview and attempts to provide a sense of the breadth and depth of work being completed. It by no means captures all of the activities underway in the project. As indicated in the slide, the talk will progress in 5 steps, with the bulk of the talk spent reviewing activities. At the beginning of the year, we were asked to state project science objectives. These high-level objectives are classification, knowledge consolidation for population of the classification, data collection for identified gaps, methods development, and science and technology communication. To complete the objectives identified on the previous slide, the project is structured around a series of activities. The text in parentheses links to the objectives of the previous slide. As indicated by the hierarchy of the numbering, there are 4 key activities with sub-activities listed beneath them that are highlighted in this talk. For broad context, the alignment of the project with NRCan strategic priorities and LMS strategic directions is highlighted by the red outline. Of 11 strategic items, there is strong alignment on 9 points. Here we review the first activity, which is focused on building a classification scheme or grouping for aquifers and glacial sediment. It will build on sediment landform classifications and ideally incorporate information on hydraulics and confining units. Work by Broderick et al. Provides foundational ontological perspective that has good alignment with the petroleum play concept that is being tentatively adapted for groundwater. As shown in Table 2, this involves hydraulics, aquifer or container, and confining units. The figure on the right conceptually illustrates the progression from the plethora of local examples to distilling the essential characteristics to support model or archetype development. This can then support prediction and comparison. The second activity, Archetypal Aquifer Characterization, is supported by 4 sub-activities that will be touched on individually. With a classification or grouping scheme in place, data consolidation can occur from the literature. Work completed by the GSC on 30 Canadian aquifers provides a first step in that process. Beyond this set of aquifer studies, there is an abundance of case studies with a range of data types and associated knowledge that can be exploited. This slide highlights an example from the Greater Toronto Area by Gerber et al. And for the Yonge Street Aquifer. This aquifer fits into the modified play concept and highlights the availability of data with respect to 3 components: the hydraulic properties, the aquifer character or facies and physical properties, and confining units in aquifer architecture. This field-based study focuses on a groundwater setting within Champlain Sea sediment. Such sediment are present across much of the St. Lawrence-Ottawa Valley and the Lac Saint-Jean area. The extensive mud deposits are of societal concern due to landslide hazards and aquitard integrity in an area of intense agriculture. Funded collaboratively with the City of Ottawa, the landslide hazard is of rising concern as suburban development encroaches on watercourses and vacant land is proposed for development. The upper image highlights the 1993 Lemieux landslide in the South Nation River watershed. Current work is focused in Orleans, Bilberry Creek. Study of 2 boreholes in Orleans is providing insight into the stratigraphy and sediment properties in the vicinity of previous landslide activity and helping to elucidate possible controls on sediment failure. Here, continuous downhole geophysical logs can be correlated with CT scan measurement variations in sediment density, mud, sand content. The CT scan provides visualization of geotechnical samples from the borehole prior to extrusion in the lab for a suite of geotechnical analysis and geochemical analysis. In collaboration with CanMet, we are providing geophysical and geological expertise to advance the methodology of site investigations for aquifer thermal energy storage systems, in this case on the York University campus. A basin analysis approach will be applied and improved characterization will be achieved through integration of seismic reflection data and downhole geophysics. Shifting from field-based study to modeling, groundwater modeling is being completed at multiple scales and on aquifer dynamics, groundwater surface water interaction, and water storage changes via GRACE. In Manitoba, modeling of the Spiritwood Aquifer is of a buried valley setting. In southern Ontario, regional modeling includes buried valleys and stratified moraine aquifers within a regional context. And at the largest regional scale, GRACE is resolving water storage issues that can be partitioned into surface and groundwater. A range of methods development studies are underway to provide the best support for characterization of groundwater and aquifer studies possible. Listed here are the top 7 activities. The Field Laboratories will be highlighted next and integrate components of all the other methods development activities listed here. In the Ottawa area, to support geophysical methods techniques development, but also to enhance understanding of specific groundwater settings, 2 field laboratories are being enhanced. Bell's Corners is a 50-year-old downhole geophysics calibration facility that has been rejuvenated and is of interest as it intercepts both Precambrian and Paleozoic rocks that can provide insight into fracture flow and aquifer properties related to municipal water supply in the area. At the Embrun-Esker site, it is host to multiple geophysical data sets, hydraulic test data, and sedimentological data that can be used for refining various geophysical interpretations, but also is being used within a machine learning environment to provide enhanced hydrophysics and physical analysis of aquitard heterogeneity. The Groundwater Project is spearheaded by John Cherry at the University of Guelph as an online, international, multi-layered groundwater education resource. The GSC is contributing in 3 aspects: chapter reviews, chapter contributions, and figures from Canada's groundwater resources. To date, 4 chapters or books have been published and are available free online. Adapting to changing travel and workplace restrictions, we are embracing webinars and online communication to ensure continued communication of project results. This is an important complement to science publishing and data releases. Hopefully you will join us for this webinar in November and again in February, conjointly with the Ontario Geological Survey. To conclude the talk, we are advancing a core objective of consolidating 25 years of groundwater studies at the GSC. To provide comprehensive coverage of groundwater settings and glacial sediment terrains, we are completing selected data collection to infill identified gaps. We are maintaining an active research program in areas of groundwater geoscience that the GSC is well recognized in through the methods development component of the project. We are also exploiting new opportunities with both intra-sector, intradepartmental, and external collaboration. Through participation in the Groundwater Project, we are contributing to the education of the next generation of groundwater practitioners.